And when I read your story, I was just like, wait a minute, this guy is perfect for this podcast. So let's start off talking about, obviously what is attractive to me is you were a college baseball player at both Arizona and Nebraska. Tell me a little bit about those years and what got you to that. And then of course we'll talk about the injuries.
Yeah. Thank you. So, I mean, looking back, those years, those college years and playing, some of the best years of my life. As I look back, also, I was navigating through those years and playing at a fairly high level, but not with many tools at all. Right. So my parents did an awesome job raising me. I grew up in Arizona, grew up my whole life playing sports, playing baseball. And I went to University of Nebraska. It was a little bit of culture shock for me being from Arizona and being able to play year round and play outside, but very, very blessed for the opportunity to play in the Big 12 at the time and just get that experience, but got pretty homesick, ended up transferring back to Arizona State and ended up having a traumatic knee injury. I had a cadaver transplant of my meniscus. I was struggling with knee issues. I had three surgeries before I even graduated high school. I played high school football. I played quarterback on a team that was young, and I ran the option, and I think I got beat up pretty good. So football definitely didn't help. But the fifth surgery on my knee was this very big. I was the first person in Arizona to ever have this particular surgery, a cadaver transplant, where they take bone tissue and cartilage from a donor and create this graft and replace it. And about 6 months later, after the surgery, my body ended up rejecting the piece and the whole surgery was a wash. But that surgery, the big one that I had, I always say, the doctors kind of sold me on the surgery a little bit, which I did harbor a big resentment towards the doctor for a long time in my addiction, which I'll get to. Right. But the day that I woke up from that surgery, I just knew I would never play baseball again. I knew it was over for me, just from the massive signs and scars of trauma to the unbearable pain. I knew it was over. And it was from that day and for many years after where my world got turned upside down from a life of an addiction to prescription pills. I did a lot of other drugs also, but what had its grip on me were the pills, whether it was pain pills like Vicodin, Percocet, Oxycontin, or like the anti-anxieties like the Xanax and Valium. I mean, it was like anything that I could get. Right. And my life got so bad. This went on for years, and my life got so bad where I ended up in rehab. When I got into rehab, I started to get really curious. I'm like, what the hell happened to my life? Right. Like this baseball player star, like this is my identity. Now I'm a drug addict. Where did it all go wrong? And really, this was also getting into rehab was my first experience into personal development and actually working on myself and getting a therapist. And what I came to understand is that I didn't want to feel the emotional pain of the loss of my purpose, my identity, baseball. The only thing I ever knew, and one day it was gone, on top of some trauma, like some legit trauma from the surgery. Right. But when I stopped blaming everybody else and I stopped blaming the doctors and I really looked at my stuff, that was it. It was the emotional pain. And then the pills would numb that emotional pain. And that went on for years. But, today I'm grateful I have over 8 years sober.
Catching Heat on Stork Media.